Hi, Manjunath.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
Able to hear me, right? My audio is correct.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yeah,
How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you? So, I saw the yesterday's message, so it has been skipped. So, how it will be covered? So, yesterday class same session will be conducted today, right?
Yeah. It will be fine. It's
And it will
just
be like,
kind of absence. I was not well, little
oh,
throat infection and feverish yesterday.
uh-huh. How are you now?
Yeah, good. Medication
Okay.
I started day before yesterday itself.
Uh,
It's climate change, right? So got little affected.
oh, yeah. Just get well soon.
Yeah, thank you.
I have not. I have to gone through the like previous class sessions, slides, and the presentations, everything. So I have slowly collecting all the recalling all these sessions what you conducted last time. So I need bit time to understand. However, I will have a time to just go through the slides and get the details. Okay, whatever
Post,
you.
post the session, we will continue.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Hi Satya. Hi Manjula.
Hi, buddy. Good morning.
Yeah, hi, Jayasima. Good morning. So, shall we
Hi,
continue? Yeah.
hi Satya. Good morning. How are you, Satya? How is your health?
Yeah, good. A little bit of still when I swallow my saliva, right? Still it pains.
Okay, okay.
But after this
Throat
session,
infection, is it?
yeah, throat infection and little feverish was there, but now no fever.
Okay.
Uh,
So you are doing better.
Better compared to yesterday. It's better.
Yeah.
Lot of hot water and gargling. I'll take full.
Yeah, hot water is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So
steam inhalation also will help if you have cold.
yeah, I have that throat thing because too much work for throat, right? As a trainer.
Yeah. Yeah. So weekend you'll be occupied, is it, Satya?
Weekend, weekdays,
Or
uh,
weekdays also.
yeah, full day training will be there, 9 to 5. And there are
But
sometimes
along work you will be able to manage.
I'll put leave and manage the work. Sometimes US trainings will be there, evening, 6:37 to morning 3:30, something like that.
Got it. Yeah, it
Yeah,
is hectic only.
we Ring DVK. What's the name?
I changed it, Satish. Yeah,
Ayappan.
Ayyappan.
I
Yeah,
was about to change that. I started editing. Ayappan. Uh, Good morning.
yeah. Good morning, Satish.
Anyhow, the session is recording. We are almost 5 minutes uh, from the time started. We will continue, and anybody who joins later, they should be able to follow things later. Okay, so let me connect the whiteboard. So, with respect to the topics which we covered last week, Saturday and Sunday, if you have any questions, we will look into it once we are done with the session today. And we will start exploring compute today. And point and
Satya, just one doubt.
yeah,
Just the endpoints, it will be available in whichever region we configure. It will be available in all availability zones and uh, the region, multi regions as well. Is it, or is there any limitation in endpoint?
you mean the virtual machines?
Yeah, yeah, endpoints will configure, right? Endpoints will the AWS services which is accessible, so
Hmm.
that will be available within the region, is it?
No, you should use the right term. When you say endpoint, what is that you meant? It's a VM computer.
Yes,
We call
usually, yeah.
we call instance for VM, we call instance. And if you use endpoint, there are different components for which we call endpoint. We have something called as VPC endpoint. We have
Yeah, VPC endpoint. Sorry, VPC endpoint. I
VPC
mean to say,
endpoints. Yeah, VPC endpoints, when you configure, it will attach the respective region's resource. It could be any other resource. The purpose of using endpoint is the private VMs, the systems which are running in the private subnet are not having access to internet, and other
hmm,
services are accessible through the internet. What happens being the AWS resource internally within the network, your private subnet, your private virtual machines will start going through NAT gateway, internet gateway, and then reaching to that. It will create a lot of unwanted network traffic. So what they did, they established one VPC endpoint. It's a IP address which will get provisioned. To that IP address, you are attaching the S3 service, S3, DynamoDB, API gateway, storage gateway.
hmm,
So any such service you are attaching to that one private IP address. So private IP address is already assigned to EC2. Now, through that private IP address, it will be able to communicate to other private IP address, which is getting VPC endpoint defined as such. So it becomes
okay.
local network rather than
Oh,
your VM going through the internet and coming back to connect. So like that it works.
mm-hmm. Yeah, understood. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So today we will go through compute. Uh, we have EC2. We will understand in detail about EC2. EC2 is our Elastic Compute Cloud, and it will help us manage anything related to compute, virtual machines, and whenever developer want to deploy their applications, they need a system, right? You can start those systems and provide to your developers to further go and deploy and test and manage all those uh, activities. EC2. Why we call this as EC2? It's called Elastic Compute Cloud. What is that we need? Compute. Why do we need compute? We want to run a code. In order to run a code, an application, you should have CPU memory together. CPU will do the calculation while memory holds that particular code or information to get executed. So together CPU memory are called as compute. This is common. You have this combination of CPU memory in your cell phone, your laptop, in your desktop, in your servers, everywhere. So one device, which is memory, RAM, loads the program, and whenever there is any proper input output, say for example, you click something, you calculate something. So that is a command which will be further captured by system to get that particular logical computation done. So this is the compute we need for various purposes to host the application, to run the application, many things. So where is this compute available? It is available on cloud. It is available through the network for you to load something, to run something. And how this cloud is available? In elastic manner. So you can increase or you can decrease based on whatever requirement you have. So at times when you start, it may be 2 CPU, and later on, as you increase the workload, you may go to 20 CPU. And when you're done with your work, you can again come back to 2 CPU. So you have a different type of combinations to use these services in different scenario using auto scaling group, using containers, using Lambda. So these are all different options which will help you vary the compute based on the workload which is coming in. So in the traditional computing, what we have a fixed laptop or computer. It has a fixed compute, 4 GB RAM, one Intel i5 processor, which has 4 logical processor. So anything you do and everything you do, it is within that. You either use 5% or you either use 100%. It is fixed. So if you want to change those things, you need to change the laptop. Here, what we do, we start an EC2 instance. And if we need, we can add additional CPU and we can remove whatever we have added additionally. So this is called scale up and scale down. In your laptop or in your desktop, what happens when you try to increase the CPU memory? There is a limit. Your motherboard supports certain amount of memory, certain amount of CPU for upgradation. So at that time, your scale up and scale down works well. At one particular point, they will say, okay, this motherboard supports only 16 GB. Now you have to go for buying the new laptop itself. The hardware doesn't support. It's like you have a hatchback and you are trying to increase the size of the tire. It supports up to certain size. After that, it won't support. You have to change the entire car itself, something like that. So processor also, you may have i5. At max, you can go for i7, or within i5 itself, from 8th generation to 10th generation or 12th generation, you can go. After that, the motherboard doesn't support. So like that, in cloud, what happens? As soon as you start one EC2, which is Ubuntu or Red Hat Linux or something, you can go with 2 CPU plus 4 GB RAM. After 1 month, you are finding your application is very popular, too many people are logging in, you want to increase it, you shut down your system and then you can make it 8 GB, 8 CPU plus 32 GB RAM. Very much possible. Now we will see these things, how it will help you achieve these things uh, when you in the reality, in the actual world. I hope you were able to go through the parameters what we learned in the previous session. I'm starting EC2. Hi Tejas, thank you for joining. I just noticed your participation. Now, EC2 is, we have a lot of options in compute. We have EC2, we have ECS, we have EKS, we have Lambda, we have Elastic Beanstalk, we have Light Sail. So if you understand EC2 and Lambda very well, most of the things are little, when it comes to these two things, these are containers. And this is serverless. And this is infrastructure as a service. This is platform as a service. So like this is also platform as a service. Like this, if you learn one or two very well, so we will be focusing on these two, Lambda and infrastructure as a service. Now, if you come back and see under compute, you can see so many things. Light Sail. Outpost is a hardware where you can order it to install inside your data center. Global View, I will take you through batch processing, app runner. These are all some serverless and other things. We'll explore serverless in the next session. And this session, let's stick to EC2. In EC2 itself, we have a lot of options. We'll discuss and understand how it is helping you to understand things. Now, as soon as you search EC2 and go for it, this is your landing page. And in this landing page, it's like your car dashboard. You can see how many instances are currently running, how many instances are currently there. There is one instance, you can see one instance, but it is not running. So it is stopped. So how much capacity reservation you have, you can reserve the capacity for your year-long usage, 1 year, 3 year, something like that. Elastic IP is a type of IP address using which I'll tell you the difference when we come there. Key pair, in order to log into the computer, you need to have the appropriate keyboard in place, a key pair in place. Now we are into Northern Virginia. First thing, what you have to decide, as soon as you want to start the computer, you should make sure where do you want to start that computer. So we are all in Karnataka or India. Mumbai will be a strategic location for us to start the EC2. Now, when I start the EC2 in Mumbai, whatever I do, it will be having less latency. The response will be quicker. We'll start one EC2, and while I'll start explaining one by one thing. So when you come to this page, you have how many load balancers, how many snapshots. We'll see all these things in detail now, one by one. You have a launch instance. I want to start a computer. So to deploy my application or to do browsing something I want to start one computer. There is an option called launch instance. When I click launch instance, it will open me a wizard. Wizard is something, you know, you are trying to install something, you'll get that window and you do this next. And certain screens, you select something, some parameters you will change and you try to complete the installation. That is called wizard. So this is one wizard where we will make a lot of choices. Depending on what choice you make here, the summary will have those changes appearing here. I'll show you one by one. So this is a launch instance wizard in which the number of instances what I'm trying to start is 1. Let's try to make it 2. Okay. And here I will say my web server, some name. This name is just for my identification because I may start thousands of machines. I want to start my web servers. I'll say client create. After that, we have something called as image. What is image? In your organization, if something happens to your laptop, they will not come with a lot of CDs and pen drives to install. They may come up with pen drive, or they may take remote control, they may map something, and they will start extracting the image. Image is a pre-built, pre-installed operating system, which will just get extracted to your system. And that pre-built image may have your operating system. Along with that, it may have drivers. It may have certain pre-installed programs like antivirus, MS Office, or your organization related things. So like that, we have something called as image, and we call it as AMI, Amazon Machine Image. And we have certain images already available. In order to see more, you can click this browse, and you can see there are quick start AMIs called 45. And as you do the shopping at the left hand side, you can see the filters. If you want only free tier, you will say only 17 available. Okay. If you want all Linux, 26 Linux available. If you want all Windows, 19 are available. If you want ARM chipset means Qualcomm, Snapdragon, Apple M1, M2, these chips are called ARM chipset. x86 32-bit. 32-bit is no more supported, but x86 64-bit is something like your AMD, Intel, these processors are called x86 processors. Now, based on that, you can select any choice of your operating system, Amazon Linux, Amazon Linux 2, Mac operating system, Red Hat operating system. You also have Ubuntu in place. There is Ubuntu maybe in the last. Okay, this is Red Hat. Ubuntu is here. Okay. So like this, there are multiple operating systems. There is something called as my AMI. I can install my own operating system. I can customize it and I can create it. Say, for example, I work for Election Commission of India. Election Commission of India gives me 3 to 4 different applications to handle the voter list and all those organizational thing, government regulation thing. So I will start one Red Hat system, and in that I will install some packages. I can create my own image. And that image, if something goes wrong to the existing machine, I can use the image to quickly start one more system. Marketplace. There are a lot of such people who create their product and they will keep it here. SAP. Installing SAP itself is a big task. If you don't install properly, you may have performance issues in the later days after 2 months, 3 months. So what SAP does on SUSE Linux, they install SAP and they keep it here as a marketplace. If you decide to use this, SAP readily installed thing is available. They will charge you from 0.2.1 per hour dollars to up to $588, depending on what hardware you select and what kind of license you select. So SAP on Red Hat is available, SAP on SUSE, SAP on Brightflow is available. So like that, let me say Photoshop. Photoshop is available on 2 machines. I don't know what it is. It is Aurora, one of the database. It's Mirai Infotech. Any other product? Oracle. Now, Oracle uses the marketplace. They have 1990 images available. Oracle 19C, Oracle 11G. So all these things are available. Um, we have a network expert, right? Let's see. 3Com. I don't know whether it will be available. 3Com. I don't know. What is it? Select this. You take a leading product. They have all the solutions available. 11,130 marketplace AMIs available. AMIs available. Community AMIs. People like me and you, we want to contribute something to the community. So we can create our own AMI and we can contribute it to community. But you need to be very careful while using this because it may contain some malware, Trojan horse or something. You should be very careful unless until you know it from the known source or something. Now for this demo purpose, what I'll do, I'll select Amazon Linux 2. What is this Amazon Linux 2? It has an image. If you are using x86, this is the image. If you are using ARM, this is the image. These images are specific to the region. If you change the region, this AMI changes. So you can choose to go for ARM or x86 here. And I'm going with x86. It has certain information about binaries, what it has. Binary utils it has. GCC libraries it has. Systemd it has. This is kernel 5.1 version. This is Amazon platform. This uses the root device called EBS, Elastic Block Storage. We'll see that in some time. It uses HVM, hardware level virtual machine. It has ENA, Elastic Network. What is this? Elastic ENA. I just missed it. EC2. Elastic Enhanced Network, sorry. So that is something enhanced network device. So these are all certain features. I'll select with Amazon Linux 2. After selecting the operating system, you can do a quick start here by selecting something, but I went to browse to show you what it is. Quick start will help you do it. After selecting the operating system, now it's time to select the hardware. So we have one CPU and 1 GB memory. The moment you click, you have huge amount of list available, different hardwares. So there are some hardwares which are grayed out. There are some hardwares which is active to select. Why? Because Amazon Linux is compatible on this device to install. It is not compatible on this device to install, something like that. Depending on that, enable and disablement of this thing happens. Let us go and compare it. So I'll click this compare instance type. I have 549 type of devices to select and go for. I have right from one CPU, 0.5 CPU, sorry, 0.5 memory is available. If I click on memory, I can go up to 12,288 GB of memory. So that is the biggest memory-based system you can have. So let's see CPU. If I click on CPU, 448 CPUs you can achieve with one machine. And architecture, you have ARM, you have x86 Mac, you have storage up to 60,000 GBs of storage available, and it has SSD, solid state drive, and it has a network performance up to 100 GB. 200 gigabit speed is available. So depending on that, you can choose to select different systems. Now, there is something called as T2. What is mean by T2? There are different EC2 classes available. EC2 type classes. Now, when you want to select an operating hardware, you should select the appropriate hardware, right? So when you want to take a bike, what are your options? Somebody want to go for highest mileage, Somebody want to go for speed, they don't bother about mileage. Somebody want to do, my bike should be compatible in between highway as well as mountains, multi-terrain. So like that, different options are available. When you choose the mobile also, there are the same options. Somebody want a good screen, somebody want good battery, somebody want good music, speakers, somebody want good camera. Like that, in EC2, they have different families available. M, first letter, T, M, those things stand for family. Second word or second character stands for the generation. So we have 10th generation, 12th generation, Intel coming up, right? So like that. GD is additional capacity, G for graphics, D for disk related additional parameter. So it has graphic card or something. Final comes large, X large, small, nano, micro, and all those things. That is called T-shirt size, which is size of the particular processor. So this family is further divided into different types. Let's see. A1 is good for, these are all general purpose. A1, T, M, all these things are general purpose. General purpose means browsing, uh, zipping the software, unzipping, processing something, and all those things. Compute optimize. Wherever your compute should be very high. Sometimes Citrix is an application where it needs a lot of CPU capacity. It does a lot of calculation rather than storing and running information. Memory optimized. R, any system which starts with R, you can remember it as RAM. So X1, these machines are good for memory intensive things like database running and SAP, Oracle, document DB, all those things. Accelerated computing, P, INF, G, machine learning. They need more graphics, right? G4, G3. So these are also, this family of the computers is broadly categorized into general, compute, memory, storage optimized. Anything which starts with H and D, it is storage related. I, you can remember it as input output, IOPS. D, you can remember it as disk intensive. H, you can remember it as hard disk. So G, graphics. R, for RAM. C for CPU. T means general purpose, something like that you can remember. So coming back to the system, I will select T2 micro because this T2 micro is eligible for free tier. It will not get charged for your demos and practices. Okay. Now, if I choose something else, you can see it is changing here in the summary section. Okay, I selected T2 micro and then I'm selecting key pair. Key pair is something you can create a new key pair. AWS doesn't allow you to log in using username password. You should have SSH key to log in. You can create new key pair. These key pairs are specific to the region. You cannot have single key pair for Mumbai, Northern Virginia. No. For Northern Virginia, it will be different key. For Mumbai, it will be different key. You can have n number of keys for one region. Say, for example, I have 5 clients installed in this. Parle-G, Britannia, all biscuit clients are there in this. Now, for each client, I'm creating one key pair. Something like that. So, but when you create a key pair, make sure you name it properly. This is created on 6th December 2022 for Mumbai region. So 5th October 2024, Mumbai region. So that when you handle it inside your local computer, while deleting or while zipping or moving, okay, what is this? All those things, okay. VPC, it's a networking part. Where you want to run this computer, what you are trying to start. So we have a default VPC, inbuilt VPC, under which I'm not selecting any subnet. I'm leaving the option for AWS to choose the right subnet for it. I'm leaving the option of assigning the IP address depending on the VPC settings. Each and every subnet has option to assign automatically public IP for this. Firewall, we can choose to go for different security groups. I will go for default security group. You can create a new security group while creating the computer itself. Then the storage part comes. Now here we have default 8 GB available for this Linux. If I want to reduce this, it will throw an error because minimum 8 GB is required to start one Linux machine. After this, you can increase it to 80 GB or you can add one more system, which is 2 GB or something. Let me go for 8 GB and this is 2 GB. This is the speed of this hard disk. GP1 is already gone. GP2, GP3 are general purpose disks, normal disks. SSD, IOPS 1, IOPS 2, these are all high speed hard disks, high speed disks. As soon as I select this, it will give me an option to select the speed, how much speed I need. So I can go for 4000 IOPS. 4000 is not allowed. So let me go for IOPS 2 where 4000 is allowed. Okay. It's the speed of the disk. While buying the pen drive, you have option, right? Class 1, class 2, class 10, something like that. So you can further choose to go for 10,000. I don't know, maximum is 500:1. 4080 GB, 5000 is supported. 8000 is supported. So 8000 not supported for 8 GB. So like that, there is a combination you can go for. For this demo purpose, I'll go with GB2. As you select the faster disk, the cost is accordingly being calculated and put on your account. Okay. So that is the file system. Advanced details. So there are a lot of options. You don't bother at this moment. There are certain at a very high level things. Shutdown behavior. When you shut down, what it should happen? Stop or terminate. You spend some time understanding these things. Termination protection. You cannot terminate it accidentally. If you enable this, it will throw a warning. You have enabled the protection. You cannot delete it. If you want to delete, go to termination protect and disable it and then delete, something like that. Stop protection. You cannot stop. Detailed monitoring. Do you want to monitor high granular detailed monitoring? If you enable, it is chargeable. You can do it whenever you need. You can buy the credit from AWS. Depending on that, you can choose to go for credit specification. Placement group. Where do you want to place your computer? There are different placement options. My area of interest is this, to explain you. I want this machine to, as soon as this machine is started for the first time, I want certain things to happen. So let me make this computer as web server. So there is a code. I will copy this code and I will explain what this code does. You all know Linux shell scripting, I believe. This is a bash script. I'm calling bin bash binary here. And this is commented line, which is there for you to understand what this code does. I'm updating the operating system. I'm installing HTTPD program, and I'm starting the HTTPD program, and I'm enabling this HTTPD to start every reboot. And then I'm creating a file under the folder where www.html index.html. This is the file which gets created and it will have this value inserted. Hello world. Hello EdYoda from this host name. It captures the host name of that local system and it inserts the value into this file. So let's see. I can also attach a file. You may be having a script how to install Oracle 11G. You can attach that script here. As soon as the machine starts, it installs the Oracle database. So with this, you can automate systems to have those programs executed during the start. Rather than logging into the system again to perform something, you can do this. Attach this drive from network. This is the credentials. Download this package, unzip, install, close, something like that. You can choose a file which has the entire script, or you can put the entire summary here. This is the summary what we selected so far, and I'm going to launch this machine. How much time it will take to see the machine coming up? Hardly 1 minute. So I just started it around few seconds back. This is at 50th second. I refresh this. This is already running. Now, as soon as I select this, depending on what I choose options, these are the details available. This is the details tab. Certain things are dynamic. I did not choose the public IP. I cannot choose. It is dynamically allocated. Instance ID is dynamically allocated. Private IP address is dynamically allocated. Accordingly, the host name is dynamically allocated. Instance type T2 micro I selected, and VPC ID I selected. Key pair, what key pair we should use? 05th October Mumbai, this is I selected. So these are all certain parameters which we selected. Status and alarms. What is the initializing status of this machine? Hardware level checks, instance readily available to access and work or check or not. So, and then we have monitoring section. So for this machine, how CPU memory disk are assumed. You can see CPU utilization, network utilization. It is still not capturing, but within some time you can see some values here. Security. Last week we have seen what is the security. It has the security group assigned. I can assign multiple security groups. Let me create a couple of security groups. First of all, let me delete some of them. We have huge number of security groups. I'll create two security group, guys. One is SSH. Hello. SSH. And I'm adding a rule SSH. IPv4. And security groups. Create security group. HTTP. Hello. HTTP. From anywhere. Okay. I did a mistake there. I added it to outbound. Sorry. I think you guys also did not notice. Let me go ahead and make changes there. So this is create security group for HTTP. I'll create this security group. This is SSH, right? SSH. And this is HTTP. For SSH, I need to modify no inbound rule. I'll add a rule SSH from anywhere, and I'll modify the outbound rule. I'll allow all traffic from anywhere. Okay. Now, coming back to my EC2, what I'll do, I'll select the machine and I'll assign the security group depending on my wish. I have SSH assigned and I have HTTP assigned, and I want to remove the default one. So one machine can have multiple security groups. One security group can be assigned to multiple systems, something like that. Now everything is done. Now let's go and connect to this machine. Yeah, go ahead.
One question is like we can assign that multiple security groups for that one, right? So it will be take via that order wise or how it will handle that security groups.
Yeah, it will take R, either this or that, something like that.
Okay, okay, okay. Suppose I'm just creating that EC2 instances. Suppose in later stage, because I cannot able to change that OS kind of thing. But if I want to increase that memory or decrease that memory or like that security groups, which I can able to add it later, like all those things we can able to do that one or.
That's why it is called as elastic compute. We'll do it.
Okay,
Elastic.
okay, 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 fine, yeah,
Now,
sure.
let me connect to this machine. I copied the public IP address. I'll open terminal. In this terminal, what I'll do, let me increase the font for your comfortness. SSH is a command I'm choosing to connect to this machine. First of all, let us try to ping to this computer, whether it is reachable or not. It is not pingable. Can anybody tell why it is not pingable?
The ICMP is not allowed for that.
ICMP is not allowed. Exactly. So I'll go to the security group. What I'll do, I'll allow ICMP with SSH. I'll open this and I'll edit, sorry, I'll edit the inbound rule and I'll add ICMP. Let me do it from my computer. So as soon as I do, you see, the response started. The system started allowing one particular traffic, which is ICMP. Control C. Now, SSH is a command using which I'm going to gain the access to the system. What is that I need? First of all, I need the identity key, which is my password. -I stands for identity. Let me clear this. SSH-I. Where is the identity key? It is there in my desktop. 05 October 2024, Mumbai. And then I'm using the username, using which username I want to log into the system. EC2-user @ IP address. So this is the syntax or command we use to log into the system. Say yes. It's asking me for the first time, do you want to connect to the system, which will create a local fingerprint for SSH? I said yes. I logged in. So I came to 172.31.9.160, which is my new system. 172.31.9.160. Now, what we did to this computer while starting, we executed some instructions. We made this server to install HTTP and all. So this system is a web server now. I'll do curl local host. It is already working as expected. The local website is working. Now, if I take the IP address and try to open it in the browser, it is already working. Now we have incorporated some instruction into the system to get installed during the start of the system. So you can also see by selecting the system actions, monitor and troubleshoot, get system log. You can see during the installation what happened. So these are all, you might have come across Linux installation, right? By now. So now it is running my instructions. Okay. Some is on Linux, SSM agent is running, cloud init. So it is processing certain things. Okay. Now it is installing HTTP package. You see, HTTP package will be installed. You see, if you feel the instructions you have put in the user data, if it is not working, you can come here and see whether it did not work or not. If it is not working, why, what challenges it had. So all these things. Now, let's try to increase the CPU memory of this. So in order to increase the CPU memory, before that, let me try increasing the disk. What is the disk we have? df-h. So the space, what we have is 8 GB. Where is this? This is the one drive we have. We gave one 8 GB. LSBLK. We have one more disk called 2 GB, which is not currently used. There are a couple of options. You can easily check how to increase EBS, how to increase EBS volume on EC2 Amazon Linux 2. So if you do this, there is an official document which will help you get those instructions. There is some background noise. Now we have the 2 GB, right? And the 2 GB, I want to mount it somewhere. Before mounting, I want to modify this, which is MKFS. MKFS is a command using which you can create file system. This is resize LSBLK. This is to increase. Command to format the drive on Linux. MKFS. If you want to do it, MKFS. So ext4 is one format. You can go for XFS also. So this is my drive. What is the drive name? XVDB. I'll just put this for reference. Now sudo mkfs -t. What type of drive you want to format this? ext4. Let's make it as XFS. Dev. This is XVDB. LSBLK. This drive is created. You can see block size and all. Now mount. dev xvdb to /mnt. Okay, only root can do it. Correct. Sudo L df-h. Now this 2 GB is mounted to /mnt. Okay, now lsblk, we have two drives, one is attached to root, one is attached to mnt. Now, after some time, the capacity of this drive is need to be increased from 2 GB. The file systems and other things have started becoming more, and have to increase this from 2 to 3. Let's assume from it is 200 GB, you want to make it 3 GB. The process is same, the size is only difference. What I'll do, I'll come to EC2 and I'll come to my system. Okay, this is the system, correct? 160, 160, correct. So under this, I will go to storage. We discussed up to security, right? Under the storage, you can see this 2 GB. Now I will click on this 2 GB and I will go to actions and select this. I'll go to actions. I'll say modify volume. You can change the type, IOPS, general purpose to something else. You can change it, and you can change it to the size. Okay. Modify, and I'll say modify. So as soon as I do this modification here, refresh, it will reflect 3 GB here. I'll come here, lsblk. It starts reflecting. 2 GB was there, now it is 3 GB. Correct? Now under this mnt, cd/mnt, touch my file. Sudo touch EdYoda. Sudo mkdir EdYoda. Okay. cd EdYoda touch Sunday. Okay, again I need to use sudo. So ls-l yum sudo yum install. I installed one package here. If I say tree, it has a folder called EdYoda. Under that, it has Sunday. Okay. Now, let us mount this volume to some other system. Now, instance, this machine we are in 160 machine. People, you have increased the volume, but system is still slow. You need to increase the CPU memory. In order, you can increase this disk when the system is running, but you cannot do it for CPU memory. Disk can be increased while the system is running, but not the CPU memory. In order to do the CPU memory increase, I'm stopping that system. What are the topics we have today to cover? EC2 instance, storage, pricing options. Okay. So Lambda and VPC hands-on. Build your. Last week we did VPC hands-on, right? We will repeat it once again after understanding EC2. Now this machine should be stopped now. Once it is stopped, you go to actions, you go to instance settings, you have something called as instance type change. Earlier we had T2 micro, now we will go for T3 micro. What is the difference? It is one core here, it is two core. Okay, it is how much memory? Same. Let me go for something else. T3 medium. It has 4 GB memory. Okay. Now, yeah, let me change it and let me start it. Now from this machine, I want to log into the other machine. How do I do it? Using SSH. But in order to do SSH, I need to have the key in place, right? First of all, from my local machine, I will copy the key to this machine. To do that, I'm exiting. SCP is a command for secure copy. It is also SSH protocol only. -I. What is the key? Desktop 05 December, October. And which file you want to transfer? This file itself. 05 October, sorry, desktop 05 desktop 05 October uh, underscore Mumbai. Where do you want to transfer? EC2 hyphen user at the rate is the IP address where I want to transfer 3.7.70 colon slash TMP. To this folder I want to transfer. Enter. This file is transferred. Okay. Now let me log into this machine again. After this, cd tmp ls. This file is there. 05 October Mumbai. This file is already there. Now from this machine, I want to connect to the new machine which is started, which is this 13.201 to 29. CD, sorry, SSH hyphen I. Where is the key? Temp. Under temp. Okay, let me not use tab. CD TMP. I will go to that TMP directly. SSH hyphen I 05. Oh, God, this local error is coming. This is the key, guys. Control C. SSH hyphen I is key. And where do I want to log in? EC2 hyphen user at the rate. This time I have two options, guys. I can either use the public IP or I can use the private IP, both. Because earlier I logged in from my computer to EC2, which is from internet to EC2. Now both these machines are in the same subnet. Both they can talk using the private subnet or public subnet. Both you can see 172 and this is also 172. But earlier, first iteration, I logged in from my system to EC2 computer because we both are not in the same network. I can use this private subnet, sorry, private IP. Let's see. EC2 hyphen user, not working. Public. Public IP, let me copy. It should work. If it is not working, then there is some issue. Refresh. My web server, it is running fine. And this is the IP address. Let me try to log in from the local machine. Control C, exit. Fourteen dot two dot one dot two two nine dot 61. Yes, very well. Security groups. Okay, this is having the different security group. Oh my God. I got it. Now this is the problem. We did not change the security group for the second machine, right? I'm allowing everything, all traffic for this. Okay. Let's do the same thing what we were previously doing. Control C. Okay. First, we will log into the first machine. From there, CD, EMP. From there, using the key, we will try to log into the new machine using private IP. It should work. There's no other way. 172.31.2.237. So if I go back, 237 is the new machine. Now, this machine has LSBLK 2 GB, right? What I will do, I will detach the other machine, other drive from this machine, and I will attach it to this machine. Storage, I'll go with this 3 GB drive and I'll detach this. Select actions, detach. Okay, as soon as I detach, under the volumes, you can see this machine, this drive appears to be in use, right? Let me refresh. It should become available. And this telling still. My web server, storage, 3 GB actions, post detach. It's still in use. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me stop the EC2. Okay, it has become available. It's like a pen drive, guys. You cannot attach pen drive at a time to two systems, right? If you want to attach the pen drive from one machine to another machine, you have to unmount it first. So I have unmounted this, unattached this 3 GB volume. Now what I'll do, I'll attach this to the new volume, to the new system. Okay, what is the new system which is having a T2 medium? It starts with, ends with A4A. Okay. I'll go to volumes. I'll select the 3 GB. I'll go to attach and I'll go for the system A4A. Okay. Device name, let it be SDC. Okay. Now let me go into my Linux machine. LSBLK. See, it has 2 GB and 3 GB. Now mount dev NVMe to, okay, I have to be sudo. Mount device NVMe to N1. Where do you want to mount? Slash MNT. We want to mount it there. Let me create the new folder. mkdir. Yeah. Mount dev vme2 and 1 2 Satya. Mount point does not exist. Where did I create? Oh, I created inside the root directory. That's the reason. Slash root underscore slash df hyphen h. This is available under root cd root satya hyphen ls. We created this in the other machine, EdYoda. Tree, it is not installed here. Yum install tree hyphen a hyphen y. So if I do tree, it will say EdYoda is folder under which Sunday is the file. Now we df hyphen h mkfs hyphen d ext4. What is this new 2 GB drive? We have one 2 GB drive, right? NVMe1 2. This is done. Now, where do you want to mount this? KTIR Manjunath. Mount slash dev. This is the new drive. Mount dev. Where do you want to go mount? I did it inside the Satya folder because when I created the folder, I was inside the Satya folder. Slash root slash Satya df hyphen h. One folder is attached, one drive is attached to here, the other folder is attached to here. Like that, you can create drives, you can modify those things, you can attach and you can detach, you can move around, you can increase and decrease the space, and you can, one thing I noticed, what is the mistake you are noticing here? It is not 3 GB. Here it is showing as 3 GB, here it is not showing as 3 GB, right? Correct? What is the command to do it? Grow part dev this is 3 GB NVMe1. I think I have to give the right option. XFS GrowFS hyphen D. We created this LSBLK BLK ID. This is XFS. 3 GB is XFS. Okay. XFS grows hyphen D, and this is the device. These are all Linux skills, guys, but I'm just showing you the possibility. There. Now, LSBLK, it is 3 GB here. DF hyphen H, this is also 3 GB here. Earlier, it was not showing 3 GB. Root Satya, it was showing only 2 GB. Now it is 3 GB. Clear? Any doubts? We modified EC2 with new CPU memory. We added drive, we increased the drive, we detached and we attached the drive from one machine to another machine. We logged in to one machine, from there we logged into another machine. We did all these things. Now, what is next? Let's say I want to take a backup of the system. Instance, we did some very significant work. We installed tree, we created one folder, we attached so many things we did. I want to take a backup of this machine. Now, the next step is installing the SAP. After installing the SAP, it may work, it may not work. But if I have to reach to the stage from starting the EC2 machine to install SAP, this itself is an effort. Before installing the SAP, I want to take a backup here so that if SAP installation is failed, I can start from here, not from the beginning. So select the machine which you want to take a backup, go to actions, go to images and template, create image. My image for EdYoda. This is a demo image created to show the AMI backup. Okay. Something which will help me recall, okay, on that day we did this because of so and so reason. Okay, so this is going to be the backup. Do you want to reboot the instance or you don't want? You can choose. It will take a backup without rebooting the system. Okay. Do you want to take a backup of only that volume? Let's say in that 3 GB volume, we created something, some very important thing, critical thing. I don't want the system. I want the disk. For that, you go to volumes, you select one machine, one particular volume, which you want to take a backup. Go to actions, create a snapshot. Snapshot means, again, it's kind of an image. This is a 3 GB drive snapshot, which was taken on Sunday, 24th November 2024. Something which will help you recall why it is, what it is, and all those things. I created a snapshot. Now, all those AMIs, whatever you've taken a backup, it will come here. We taken a backup of the system, right? And we have taken the snapshot. Snapshot will appear here. This is a 3 GB drive snapshot. Okay, let me delete other images when these things are created on 24th. Okay, this is because we have taken image backup, right? So that's why everything is created now. Fine, not a problem. Now, I want to move this from here to somewhere else. My colleague is working in Sydney and I want to give him this image and this drive because I don't want him to again spend time. My manager told there's a new person who joined. He also should quickly start. Let him not spend on creating the machine right from the scratch. You share whatever you have right now. So I selected this drive. And what I'll do copy snapshot. What I'll copy the snapshot from AP South 1 to what is Sydney? Sydney. AP Southeast 2. AP Southeast 2. I will copy the snapshot and AMI also. I will select the AMI and I will copy the AMI to Sydney. Okay, now while starting the instance, if I want to see my image, I can go to the catalog, let it load. Under my AMI, I should be able to see one image, which is my image for EdYoda. You see, we created, right? It has one folder, EdYoda, it has folder called Sunday, it has folder called Satya, it has additional packages like tree installed, all those things. That's my work, which I want to share. Okay, so let's go to Sydney and see what we have. Very easy to, and go to, I don't need the old machine. The old machine is small. Nobody is really using. Let me go and delete it. Instance state, terminate. Because this I started when I created my application. After that, it needs more CPU, more memory, more disk. I created a new machine. I shifted my volume from this to this. And now this machine is working. This is no more required. I'm shutting it down. I already taken a backup of this. Now this is not required. I'm shutting it down. Okay. I'm terminating, completely deleting. Okay. Now let's go to Sydney. In Sydney, I will go to AMIs. I should be able to see my image for EdYoda. I have another one. Let me delete it now. Okay. So I can select it, actions. This is the button. I'm just checking what other options I want to explain. Okay, this is all details, permissions, storage, how much storage it has, all those things. Now, after selecting this, I will start the instance from here. And while starting the machine in Sydney, I'm selecting the key pair which is related to Sydney. 05 October 2024, Sydney. Let me see whether I have that key or not. Shell, new tab, CD, desktop, ls, 05, start, Sydney. It's there. I can go for it. Okay. Security group. I'll select the default security group. This is the 3 drives it has. It is giving me an option to either increase or decrease from here. Let me make it as 4 GB and see what it does. That's all. I'm starting the machine. Something happened. Let me restore this back to as it is. Yes. Okay, it is still pending. Guys, the problem is if you go to AMI under Sydney, it is still pending. Okay, it is not completely copied from Mumbai to Sydney. That's the reason. If I go to volumes, I should be able to see that GGB volume. That is also not copied. Sorry, snapshot it should be there. Okay, so 3 GB snapshot, right? What's the description? It was taken on Sunday, 24 November 2024. Okay, this is the one. Let me delete the other one. Actions, delete. Okay, this is the one drive which we started in AP South 1. AMI is still pending. Before that, let me go ahead and tell you a couple of other parameters. 24, 12:24, we have half an hour left. Let's discuss about drives. What are the different storages we have? We have something called as EBS and EFS. This is elastic block storage. This is elastic file storage. Elastic block storage is something like your C drive, D drive, which is your local drive, where your system is directly having access to the block level access of the storage. We use this kind of storage whenever there is any increased input output is required, higher IOPS. And this is completely dedicated to one machine. When it is attached to one machine, you cannot attach it to another machine. It's like your C drive. While the machine is running, you cannot attach the same hard disk to some other system, right? So it's quite not possible. It's have block level access. You can format it. You can install, especially it is used to install certain packages and files where frequent access is required, like C drive, operating system, databases, and such kind of programs. This is dedicated to one machine. EFS, Elastic File System, it is mainly used for file sharing. So let's see, this is your machine. You have very good image in the internet. Let me go show you AWS, EBS, and EFS. I'll go to images. I'm looking for something which is specific. Let me see this. Yeah, this image will give you very good insight. Copy image. Discard. Okay. Now, this is your EFS, guys. Sorry. This is your EFS, which is there in one of the AWS environment. And you can attach this drive at a time to multiple systems. It helps you attach the same drive to multiple systems. And but we have EBS, something called as elastic block storage. One drive can attach to only one system. Similarly, you can attach multiple such drives to the same machine. But the thing is, drive should be attached to only one machine at a time. Instances may have some internally built storages that is called instance store. This is called ephemeral storage. Ephemeral storage means as soon as you stop the system, as soon as you shut down the system, this will get deleted. The data in this will get deleted. Now, you can take a snapshot of EBS. One more benefit of this instance, EBS, EFS volume is you have three availability zones, right? have multiple availability zones, right? Let's assume we have two, AP South 1A, AP South 1B. Okay, an EC2 is running here. EBS volume has to be here. It has to be on the same availability zone. If it is there in the other availability zone, it won't work. No, it is not possible. Whereas EFS, you can attach it to this availability zone system, the other availability zone system, both will work. It's the very old system called network file storage. File storage work across the network. So similarly, EFS works across different availability zones, whereas EBS works only to the specific availability zone. So this is one more way of looking at storage. Okay, now this, let's see whether it is still pending. Failed. Oh my God. What made it to fail? Usually it should not fail actually. But let me see. Go to Mumbai, AMI. Maybe we tried to start it. That's the reason it is failing. Copy AMI. This time I will copy it to Northern Virginia. I have not named anything. I did a mistake. I go to Northern Virginia and I'll see AMIs. I should be already having one AMI there. Let me delete that first. Yeah, it is there. Let it copy. We will come back and see. So that is the storage EBS. We already saw different type of EBS, which is like, you know, IO1, IO2, GP1, GP2, GP2, GP3. So these are all types. Now, EFS will help you create a file system which needs to be stored. Let's say I have an application which is 2 GB in size, maybe MS Office 5 GB in space, and I'm keeping it in one drive and I'm sharing it to everyone. So anybody want to use it, they can use it. Otherwise, I need to keep this 5 GB copy in everybody's D drive. Instead of doing it redundant, I can keep it in EFS and I can share with everybody. Usually, commonly used files and folders across the organizations are used to store in file storage. That's what EFS helps you achieve. That's one thing. Let's attach EFS to our system and see. Okay, we have one EFS. I don't know where it is. Northern Virginia. Let me select Mumbai. I should be having one in Mumbai. And I'll attach this. I should not have deleted the other machine. I should have shown attaching the same drive to both the machines. It's okay. We'll start one more if required. uh, attach. As soon as you click the command attach, it will show you the instruction. Let me connect to the same machine again, which is my, okay, this is gone, right? This is deleted. Control C. This one is still there. I want to attach this to EFS. First of all, I need to create a folder called EFS. ls mkdir EFS. And copy this and put this. It will fail because EFS is not getting identified. I'll use the other option, NFS4, ls-larth, cd EFS. It has some files and folders. It has great learning, it has my Java application, new directory. So it was all created sometime back in October. Now df-h, what is the storage? 8.e, 8.0e. That means it has infinite storage. Let me start another machine. Duplicate EC2. My app server. Where is this machine running? The existing one. AP South 1B. Let me start the new machine in AP South 1A. I'll go with this key pair and I'll go with edit AP South 1B. Okay. Create security group. I'll go for default. Nothing much. We are dealing with EFS, right? It should work. This is a new machine. I will log into this machine. ED, TMP. Okay, here we don't have that key. Now let me do this key here. SSH-I, desktop. Okay, I'm already in desktop. SSH-I, 05 October, Mumbai. EC2-user at the rate new machine. This is my new machine. To this machine also, I'll attach same EFS drive. We have the command here, right? We can connect the same command from here. Sudo su-cd root mkdir EFS. This is a new machine, right? Let me make EFS1. And while attaching, try to attach it, EFS1. It's not getting identified. df-h. This file system is attached to EFS1. cd EFS1 ls-l. So it has great learning, new directory, post replica, the same directories, whatever we saw here. It is. Let me create one cd EFS EDYoda. The other system should have the directory EdYoda created. cd EdYoda. Search new Sunday. We have three, right? Three. Under EdYoda, we have Sunday created. So like this, EFS can be used across the availability zone. Now we have something called as pricing options, AWS pricing options. Um, we have different pricing options. Whatever we did just now, sometime back, that is called on demand. On demand, it's like something you want to travel somewhere, you need a car, you are booking Uber, right? So it's like on demand. It has, let's say that as X amount of price. It's some X amount of price. Now, it doesn't come with any liability or any commitment. You want it, you use it, and you release it, it's gone. Savings plan. You can go with 1 to 3 years of long-term plan. The same Uber, you call them and tell them, hey boss, I need your car for 1 full week. If you go for on demand, they will charge you 20 rupees or 25 rupees per kilometer, right? Depending on various factors. But if you call them and if you try to book the option, I need the car for entire day or entire 3 days, then the kilometers will be reduced from 20 standard to 15 or 14, something like that. Because that guy will get a assured business. He don't have to roam around the city with a lot of uncertainty. He will get, okay, my business for 1 day for 100 kilometers, it is fixed. Now I'm good. So like that, you can go to savings plan. If you go to savings plan, you will save up to 70% compared to on-demand price. So AWS doesn't have any computers or hard disk. Sorry, it doesn't have any data center in the whole world. Depending on the business, they will go and get the lease of the existing data centers by setting up their own standards. Now, if you commit with them stating that I will stay with you for 1 year or 3 year, they will get the business for you with a very good offering discounts. That is called savings plan. In this 1 year, you can 1 year or 3 year, you can either pay upfront or you can choose to pay in installments, phased manner. There is something called as spot instance. Now, we are using this EC2 for different business purpose, right? Monday to Friday, a lot of people use this EC2 to get their business done. Now, what do? Saturday, Sunday, long weekends, festive time, they will shut down. Even they shut down in the night also. What AWS will do? Anyhow, it is already running data center. Anyhow, they are already paying for power and electricity and internet. They will let that particular resource to get used by other people up to 90%. It's like Bangalore pub. You go before 7 o'clock, you'll get 1 to 1 free, right? You go to before 4 o'clock, I believe. Because now people started boozing after 4 itself. If you get the bill done before 4 p.m., 1 to 1 beverages will be free, something like that. So why they do it? Because they want to attract the people. At that time, they are paying it for rent facility, they are paying it for chef, they are paying it for cleaning people, electricity, everything they are paying. But business is not happening. What they do, they give offers only on the beverage. People who are college folks, And people who have come for leisure, waiting for someone or meeting someone, they go and enjoy that benefit while they come to know how's the environment, ambience, food quality, food taste, and other things. So they later on, some other time, they come during the actual hours, which is for dinner or something, because they get to explore that, right? So similarly, AWS offers unused resources at to 90% of uh, discount compared to on-demand price. Anybody who want to do this BPO kind of work or any work, they can use this resource during that off business hours. And the the take here is, as soon as the demand increases in the market, they will give you only 2 minutes of notice and they will snatch that CPU memory from you. They will terminate your system. So these kind of systems are suitable for batch works, uh, where you don't have the data critical. Data is in S3, it uses two buckets. It takes data from one bucket, it processes and it keeps it in the other bucket. If EC2 is deleted, your data is intact. Such kind of workload is suitable for this. This is called spot instance. You have something called as reserved capacity. You can reserve the capacity for the longer duration. What happens in reservation? You will get a set of hardware as well as systems dedicated for your business. AWS will not run any other instances in this reserved capacity. So it is something like blocking that particular hardware for your purpose. So whenever you need it, you can use it. You can leave it as it is. They will charge you X amount of money for your reservation. So that is called reserved or dedicated capacity for your different purposes. There are different type of billings available. Some people want per second billing. They can go for per second billing. There is something called calculator.aws. You can go and check how much charges it will get for your requirement. Create estimate. What is that you want to use? Search by location type. Which region you want to use it? You can use it Northern Virginia. EC2 you want to search for. Configure which system you want to use. You can check. I want to use a dedicated instance. I want to use a Linux machine. I want to use one machine, and that should be C6A. How many CPUs? I use 8 CPUs. I want 16 GB RAM. So these are the options. If I select this, the charges for monthly cost will be so much, 1705. So let me reduce it to C4. There's no change, right? Let me go for T or T2. T3. Let me reduce the memory. Go for 8 GB. Okay, I'm not changing it here, right? If I select it here, the cost should get reduced, right? Why it is not getting reduced? Okay, now it is changing. So how is that you want to use it? On demand, spot, standard, convertible, and further things like data transfer, how much data it is getting transferred, how much disk space you are using, IO1, IO2. So you have 200 GB, terabyte, 2 terabyte, snapshot frequency. You're taking every week backup. How much snapshot backup you are taking? 1 TB. So like this, it will show you what are the charges available for your estimation. This is monthly cost, this is yearly cost. You can further edit it and change certain parameters. If you want to go for Windows, what happens? Let's see Windows Server. The cost increases because the license gets added. You go to shared instance. The cost becomes significantly reduced because you are going for public transport. This is your private transport. Correct? So, like that, different options will help you explore different charges. How you want to go for 1 year, 3 year, all upfront payment. See, if I am paying everything upfront, $435 per month. If I'm not paying upfront, 587. Partial upfront, little bit relief. If I go for on demand, this one. Spot instance. How to check the spot instance? You go to EC2 and in that EC2 you have spot requests. In Mumbai, what is the spot rate going on? You can see pricing history. As on today, the best price for this is on demand price 0.0850. Can go for AP South 1A 0.0344. This is less than 50%, 59% saving. 1C is much more less used. This is the cheapest for C5 large. T3 X large, what is it? So like this, you can see different prices and you can go for it. You can also bid for your wish. This is my price. I want to go for this price. So you can bid the amount, how much you want. So spot, what is it? Just be aware of it. Unless until you start using it. This savings plan, if you have got any savings plan, you can see it here. Reserved instance, if you have any reserved instance in place, you can see it here, you can purchase it. Dedicated host. Elastic IP. One thing I'd like to show you, we're in Mumbai, right? I'll do one thing. This is T2 micro. Right? Let's go for this T3 micro. Remember the IP address 13.229.61. What I'll do, I'll stop this instance 229.61. Any doubts so far, guys? A lot of silence. I don't know whether it is making sense.
Yeah, a lot of navigations, a lot of configurations, bit confused, but yeah, I need to go through it again.
Yeah, if you go through the reading recording and if you start
Yeah,
it's good to go for weekend training, guys, because the entire week we can go for multiple reiterations and we can flow based on when you go through the recording, right? You make a
yeah,
note of step and shut down the recording. Depending on
uh-huh.
what written, you do it on the
Yeah,
at that time. your understanding becomes more mature.
Correct. Yeah, we'll do that. Sure.
Now it is stopped. I will start again. So 229 dot something was there, right? Now it is changed. So every time you stop and start, the IP address changes. That's why your configuration may go differ. What I'll do, I can start one elastic IP. Okay, let me see where my system is first. AP South 1B. Elastic IP, allocate. Okay, starts everywhere. I can attach this elastic IP with the existing machine. Back to this becomes 13.34, right? 139 instance. Yeah, this is attached. Now, if you go to networking, you'll have this fixed IP. Now, elastic IP is something which is dedicated IP address in a modular fashion for you. You can attach it to different machines. You can detach it and attach it. Say, for example, initially I started this machine, right? T2 micro. I started an application. I gave the IP address to everybody to use. After restart, if I change the IP address, people will say, hey, what is this? Every time he changes the IP address. What I'll do, I'll start this elastic IP. And when I change the system, I will keep this elastic IP assigning it to different system. Elastic IP is chargeable. It is like owning the public IP for yourself. By default, if you get the public IP address for your laptop, for your EC2, that is also chargeable. But here, the IP address will be fixed unless until you go and release it. This, you can attach it to different machine. Say, for example, I started one EC2. Its capacity is running out. I will move to the new machine, which is higher capacity. I can detach the elastic IP from one machine and I can attach it to the new machine. One moment, let me show you. I have this EC2, which is one CPU, 2 GB. After doing a lot of development, the system performance is hit 100%. I'm going to go for new system, which is 4 CPU and 16 GB RAM. If I have the elastic IP, first I'll attach to this. All the crowd from the internet is reaching to this and it is going to the system. Now what happens next? By keeping this machine 100% up and running, I can parallelly create the system and I can check whether it is working fine. One fine day, I will detach this and I will attach it to here. This IP address remains the same. After some time, when the users are happy, they are not really concerning about slow, I will delete this. Otherwise, if I use the normal public IP here, and if I move this to other machine, the IP address will get changed. Public IP will get changed. And every time, if I inform people about it, they will say, hey, what is this? Every time you are changing. You got one fair idea. So this is just one example, but think about your system is getting configured in multiple lines of code in some software. If you change this IP address, software will not work. If you use this elastic IP, this becomes fixed and this IP can be attached to any machine which is coming up in the event of any such change. Elastic IP also comes with additional capacity, like it increases the bandwidth, it increases the performance and all those things. Pairs. Load balancers. How many of you are aware of load balancer? Okay, it's already 1 o'clock.
And the high level would say if the resources is exceeded the limit, so it fetch to the secondary configuration, or maybe it shares the resources from the other environment, and it balances the load, something like that.
Correct. When you have one application spread across multiple systems, that's when you need load balancers. And there are three types of load balancer: application, network, and gateway load balancer. Application load balancer is known as also intelligent load balancer. With the help of URL itself, it will understand where the traffic needs to be sent across. If it is HTTP, it should go to here. If it is HTTPS 443, it should send to another group of systems. Like that, you can create different type of load balancers, which will help you manage the traffic across multiple systems. We will perform this exercise in the next lab and the next session. If you are done with reviewing what you learned today, because this week you had only one session, go through whatever we did EC2, because EC2 is one of the very important and core topic. Spend as much time as possible, play around, make sure when you are getting up from the system, you delete the resources what you started, be it a volume, be it a EC2, be it a elastic IP. Don't leave it assuming that I will come back after 1 hour and I will do it. When you come back after 1 hour, priority will be changed. We are all working. And I also believe like some of you might have already married. You think something, things will happen its own when you come back to home. Make sure you delete those resources when you come back, and play as much as possible on EC2, because EC2 is one of the core topic. And once you are clear about those, then next week we will do the lab of this application load balancer. Network load balancer, we don't have hands-on. You can do it on your own. If you have any challenges, I'll help you. This operates at layer 7, application layer, OSI layer 7. This operates at layer 4, where TCP, UDP, these are all network level protocols. Okay. Gateway load balancer is something which is related to security. When the traffic is received, before sending it to the computer, the gateway load balancer sends it to different services of AWS, which checks the policies. What should be the protocol? What should be the IP address? What should be the authentication value? What should be the encryption value? If the request meets those policies, it will allow the traffic to go to the computer. Otherwise, it discards the traffic. This is mainly used for security purpose. Gateway load balancer. So there is one more load balancer which is outdated called classic load balancer. This is combination of all three. When the people started asking more specific load balancer for their workload, AWS introduced these things by discontinuing this. This is not completely discontinued, but AWS discourages you to not use this. Do not use this unless until it is your old environment. You have the right justification. After that, we will also go through auto scaling next session. So if you get time this week, spend some time, make some time. We all have to make time. Okay. Spend some time on load balancers and auto scaling group of AWS through some YouTube videos and all, which will help you some predefined knowledge. Before going through the session, you know certain things. You never feel like too many of new words and jargons. Auto scaling group, depending on the utilization of the system, it will start adding new machines. We will perform both these things in the next session. Apart from that, global dashboard, EC2 global view will help you see how many systems are running in different regions. So now we used two regions, right? Actually, we tried to do it on Sydney, but it did not work. Let me also start a system in Northern Virginia. I think you can do it very well. In Northern Virginia, if you move the AMI, you just have to go to AMI, select that particular AMI, and launch this from there. That's all. You should be able to log in without any challenge. NV2. I'm not doing any much changes there. Let me see. Started. Okay. This is IP address. Search -I desktop NV2. EC2-user@. EF-H. You can see three systems. Sorry, LSBLK. It has 2 GB and 3 GB. Mount. Both the systems are mounted. Now, tree is something we use, right? Tree is already here. Tree, mount, one, mount two. This is what we created in the other machine in Mumbai. Now it is running in Northern Virginia. So you can use this AMI and move it from one machine, one region to another region. Global view will help you see how many systems you are running from different regions. AP South 1, which is our Asia Pacific Mumbai, we have 3 instances running. Northern Virginia, there are 2 systems. One is running, the other one is not running. Instances. One is Windows for the other class. It is partially done. Instance state. I will terminate this and then I'll see how many are running in Northern Virginia, Windows, AP South 1. I'll delete this as well. Terminate that as well. Instance state, terminate. Okay, I'm open to questions if you have any. Let's shoot whatever questions you have. You can see network is started appearing the metrics. Apart from that, we are left with networking. Just has the networking card, ENI, Elastic Network Interface. You can attach multiple network interfaces to the same system, single machine. You can do multipathing if you are aware what is multipathing. Storage, you can see all the storage drives and you can see the metrics accordingly. Apart from that, tags, you can add different tags for this machine. You can add up to 80, 50 tags for each system. Try to explore these options, guys. What are these instance settings? What is that it means? Networking, what it means? Security, what it means? And templates, monitoring, troubleshooting, all these things. Don't get too much overwhelmed. Of course, you have to clear the first round, and once you start working, all these things you will come to know when you start working. Go with the minimum flow, whatever it is required to start the institute instance and connect to that, and how to increase and decrease CPU memory disk. That is something we are focused. And how to copy the system from one region to another region, one availability zone to another availability zone. So those are all certain things you should know at L1 level, L1, L2 level. What is AMI? There is something called as lifecycle manager. When it comes to volume, we tend to take a lot of backup. And after taking a lot of backup, we may end up having too many of backup. So you can create a lifecycle manager after 30 days, after 60 days, these snapshots needs to be deleted, something like that. So AWS will take care of deleting those snapshots as and when there is time up. Delete volume. I believe you guys said you have some queries to check with. Go ahead with your queries. Let's see if we have anything. I'm okay to answer by spending some additional time. Then Virginia, let me do the cleanup in AP South 1, which is our Mumbai. Mumbai. All the systems are terminated. AMIs. Let me terminate that as well. Deregister. Volumes. Snapshots. So, guys, any questions? Any queries?
Satya, one small query, like snapshot is just like taking a that is also a backup, right? Or you are taking the complete system
Complete system
restore.
backup. Complete system
Yeah,
backup. Two type of
and
backup needed. One is EC2, the entire system backup. If you take the entire system backup, it will take the backup of all the drives. C drive, D drive, everything. If you take the snapshot, which is only one drive's backup,
Okay, snapshot will not take the complete one, but image you created image, right? AMI's image that will take the complete one.
correct. AMI, Amazon Machine Image, which is the whole computer backup. It may have C drive, D drive, multiple drives, everything it will take. And if you saw, right, when we moved the system from AMI from EC to, sorry, from Mumbai to Northern Virginia, you have seen the subsequent 2 GB or 3 GB drives also. But when we move this AMI, when we move this snapshot from one region to another region, let me switch to Sydney. Sydney, we go to snapshot, it is only one drive, something like that. So this is the AMI. When you want to start the AMI under the storage, you can see all the three
Yeah,
drives available.
but snapshot will be useful only when there are only certain things we have to take a backup. For example, any application backup or any
Database,
certain configuration changes on data. Yeah.
database, yeah. See, database, usually what we do, we take a backup of the drive which has installed files as well as database. Because if something goes wrong, last week the whole AMI is taken backup. I just need the data backup this time. The different scenarios are there. Depending on that, you can choose to go for either AMI backup or
Okay.
snapshot.
Okay. Yeah. Got it.
You are much more practice required. If you practice more, you will find answers by yourself. And I want to enable you accordingly because once I'm done with training, you should be on your own. Don't put yourself down when you get any error. You have ChatGPT, you have Google, put that error there. You have Amazon Q also. You can put your error there, it will help you. Finally, if you are unable to make any progress, then you come to me, we will sort that out.
Yeah. Any specific advantage of Amazon Q, Satya? Because I tried using that. Is it just like ChatGPT
Like
enabled
ChatGPT,
or in?
just like ChatGPT. But when you ask something, you need to be very specific and clear what you need to ask. If you are not giving the enough context, if you are not giving the right information and example, it will be left with limited options to give you the response.
Okay. No, with any specific instance, if I'm not able to troubleshoot with Amazon Q, will it help only for that specific instance? Will it give the suggestions and
It should,
like troubleshooting them?
yeah, it should give you those inputs.
Okay.
I'll ping you one link which I used for this code. This will be handy for you. Uh,
Okay.
when you practice EC2, you use this code. This code will help you, start the EC2 with the web server enabled.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, Satya, not from my end.
Yeah, this basic. I saw that most of the time, most of the parameters used is Linux coding. Actually, is that the we need to get in knowledge of the Linux commands and other instructions.
Depends on your environment where you are going. Most of
Okay.
the enterprise workloads are put in Linux. If you have clear idea of how to handle Linux-based instances, it will help you. Otherwise, many people also use Windows. It should not be a problem. But I'm a Linux guy. I spent most of my career on Linux. I
Okay.
found I find it very fluent to take you through Linux options. But as
Yeah,
long
sure.
as you get the concept, I'm
Yeah,
happy. AWS
sure.
concept, if you're happy, I'm good.
Sure. Thank you.
Fine then, Jaisima, Ayappa, Manjunath.
Yeah,
Uh,
thank you.
Take care. We'll see next week, Saturday then.
Sure,
Sure.
sure.
Yourself stick to AWS topics next whole.
Yeah. Sure,
Yeah,
Satya.
sounds good. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you, Satya.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.